Yeah.
Marriott to. We'll think of something.
I think we could by the end of this.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get this started. We'll start this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 16. I'm your host, Jason Manor-Inter.
And I'm your co-host, David Liu.
And today we got a special guest. We always got special guests, I guess.
Every guest is a special guest.
Every guest is a special guest. But today we have Mr. Erald Shkalla.
Shkalla.
Is it Shkalla?
Shkalla.
Is that Albanian?
That's correct.
You're Albanian, right?
Yeah.
And for those that don't know who Erald is the first realtor to join YYC Real Estate Group.
Yes, and Equium Living.
Oh yeah, in Equium Living.
Equium Living and YYC.
Just jumped right in, eh?
I'm a lucky man.
Yeah, when did you get your real estate license?
Oh, I think it was accomplished like around mid-July.
Yeah, this year.
By the end of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like the full license with all the CREB and the Century Lock access, I think it was like by around July 21st, 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when we start hitting the streets.
Yes, that was pretty quick actually.
Yeah.
I remember when Jason was telling me that he knew someone that wanted to get their license, and he was a previous client of yours. And then
Yeah, you bought 6, 7 years ago. We still got that picture.
6.
Yeah.
And then we got another one together.
Yeah, you got an
3.
investment. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 after that.
Yeah.
yes, you were a client first, and then now you're a team member.
Yeah. Well, we've
pretty
known
sweet.
Jay for
We go way back, right?
way back.
We'll go into the details of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that.
That's right. Anyways, YYC and Equium, okay?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, now we're at YYC. Now you're at YYC Real Estate Group. Yeah, you gave me a call like early this year. Was it this year?
Yeah.
Or like last year or something.
Yeah, because I think I was like, I was in Muskoka. I was doing like one of my projects there at the JW when I was still working for the Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Which you just got laid off.
yeah, we just got, yeah, all my, my hospitality, hoteliers out there, I feel ya.
Yeah,
But,
that's your background. That's something we'll definitely talk about.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. So when that happened, we just like, we got a call about this COVID's coming and then everything's getting shut down. We're getting flown back to Calgary. I'm like, all right, I like what's going on. Okay, no
Yeah.
worries. And then we're still getting paid. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, I'm always wanted to do real estate too. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna really do this because
Yeah.
I've been talking about it. And then you get busy. It's something you got to really, really invest your time into because A, ain't cheap. And 2, you got to make sure you're focused and dedicated because you got to make the investment. It's like an investment that you want to double, triple, quadruple, right?
Well, especially in the first year. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's say the first month,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I would say that should be your main focus. But how long it takes, some people get lucky, some don't. It depends on your drive too, I believe, for anything. But anyway, so when
You gave me a call and you're
Yeah.
like, "Yo, Jay."
No, it was, because I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then
Yeah.
as soon as I started doing it, I was like, okay, who would know better than how to like start doing the courses? And I remember I called you. I was like, Jay, what do I do about, how to get the real estate? He's like, man, it's been a long time. You're like, just call maybe like Rika. And
I was like, "Yeah, call Rika."
yeah. And then I was like, all right. So I did some research. And then I know when a lot of people come up to certain people, be like, I want to do this. And then we're going to join your team. But
You have no idea how many people have asked me.
Yeah, it's quite common actually.
It's quite common. A lot of people ask to be in real estate there, right?
yeah.
But I feel like not a lot of people fully commit and
Yeah.
actually act as fast as you did. So congrats and props to you for that.
I appreciate that. I think.
Well, it's funny because Dave's been like, "Dude, we need another agent. We
Yeah.
need another
We
agent."
need a
I'm like,
buyer's
"Yo,
agent."
chill out. Like, let's go reach to the next level first, and then we'll talk, right?" And then,
Yeah, I've been talking about this for the last like 2 years. So
yeah. Then you called me. I was like, "Okay, well, let's see if this is actually gonna go down." You called me during your exam, and I'm like, "Bro, like I don't know this stuff."
in the exam,
Yeah, he's like, what was he asking questions about the real estate like exams, and I'm like, man, I have no idea. I don't even know what you're talking about. You're asking me about like some rural properties and stuff.
Yeah, some of the like, no offense if you're hearing or anybody's from Rica working in there, but some of the stuff you learn is just pretty much maybe like 10% you can use on the field. The knowledge behind it in the law and the basic concept is 100%. But I think you gain a lot of that from the consistency of either buyers, sellers, and the transactions. And that's, I think, the biggest thing.
Yeah, you didn't. That's what I felt too. Like the exam, like they don't teach you really anything. They just teach you the laws.
It's mostly theory and like ethics and like case studies and stuff like that. But it's not like you're gonna learn how to write an offer.
And things change, right?
Yeah.
I think not just everything, any hospitality or this industry, things change year by year. So everything is different year by year, season by season. Like COVID, do you think they teach you that in school and how to
deal with that business, right?
So like still, I'm not gonna say you really need it too. Like you need to know the background of it and the concept and
totally.
But anyway, so then after that,
we hit it going. But before we get into that, let's talk about what you're doing before.
Yeah.
Let's dive into. I always like to hear the backstory.
The past. Like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Originally.
Ooh, I'm from Durrës, Albania.
Nice.
Albania. Okay.
It's Durres.
Were you born there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it was nice. It's right on. So Durrës is Albania is like right on top of Greece. If anybody doesn't know that, pretty much. But we're pretty much right on the coast, right on the Adriatic, where Durrës is located. So,
and then when did you come to Calgary?
I think that was in 2007.
Oh, so 13 years ago.
7, yeah. Because I was in Windsor.
How old are you?
30, turning 31.
Oh shit!
January.
You're past the 30.
Hey. Yeah, in that stage.
So you came here 13 years ago. How did you get into? Erald used to work just recently. Got laid off at the Marriott. Is that right?
JW Marriott. Yeah.
JW Marriott.
No, so I worked for at first, like right before this, I was doing for OSR, which is corporate Marriott, doing food and beverage as a food and beverage manager.
Wait. Before that though, weren't you in construction? Because I remember when we
still am
6-7 years ago. Yeah. You were working with a builder or something.
You do roofing, right?
Yeah, with my brother.
Yeah.
My brother. He's always, I think, a lot of Albanian people who come here to Calgary when they first came here. It's like, if you know an Albanian person, everybody's got a roofing company. So it's like,
we have
my
a lot
brother,
of Albanian builders. Like they all build together.
Yeah, and that too. It's
You know
like
them, don't you?
a few of them. Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
A few.
So you started first into building construction.
Doing roofing.
Roofing.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother was the one who did it mostly because I was still like young when I came here, like still in high school. But like we were forced into it, like because it's kind of like making money.
What grade were you when you came here?
When I left Windsor, it was just right in the beginning of grade 12.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, beginning of grade 12 when I left Windsor, Ontario. But yeah.
And then you guys started.
My brother was roofing here. That's why we came.
Yeah.
So originally, when I was in Windsor, he was opening a company. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to join you. Come here and see you." So I was doing high school and working with him roofing. But it's good money at that time when we were young. So we started making. He's really good at it. I think I was good at just kind of like managing the back end because he's like his quality of work is pretty top notch and. I don't like heights, so I like to manage things from the ground if possible. I have to.
That's pretty funny.
But at that time we're just working together, just making some good money, and then from there.
What led that transition to getting into the Marriott? Because that's kind of a weird thing to get into. Not a weird thing, but totally different.
It's a hospitality
industry, right?
Yeah.
Like you're roofing, and then you get into hospitality. So how did you get into that, and how long were you doing that at the Marriott?
Well, it's okay. I'll make it this really short and fast. But it's what turned it all around was I think when I was like 16 or 17. Because when we first came to Canada, we lived in like London, Ontario, then Windsor, and then we all started working in this like very famous like Italian restaurant. Because in Windsor, compared to like here in Calgary, Alberta, it's pretty multicultural in a way of like community. So they have like a street dedicated just to, like Erie Street, which is like Italian street, Wyandotte, which is like Lebanese street. And so this Italian restaurant was on that Erie Street, the Italian street. So like my whole family ended up working there. I was, you know, a busboy. My brother was, I think he was serving, and then my parents was working as well too in there. So we're all like, you know, immigrant family. We have to work. You know what I mean? But so then I started really liking it. Then right after that, crazy thing that turned it around for hospitality, which made me love it, and I think even too for business wise, is I started working in this coffee shop called Sorrento's, and it was like a block down from that restaurant. And I used to.
This is in Windsor.
In Windsor, yeah. But I remember, I used to take care of the whole shop, and he would always ask me how old I am, because in Windsor it's 19 years old to be legal for you to work. Yeah, I used to tell him I'm 19, and I know the owner, and this guy, like, I know him as an individual there as an owner, but like I know he knew that I was lying, but I think he knew the dedication, that hard work that I would put in, that he would even let me close. Yeah. So like it made me understand. I'm like, wow, like. Like hanging out with older crowds, right? Like hospitality game is different. Like when you're working and then you're actually working in this kind of environment, you see take a step back and you notice like certain conversations, certain activities. Like you're like, oh, you're like a 16-year-old kid smoking a cigarette. I used to smoke a cigarette in there because when smoking was allowed inside, right? Yeah. Smoking a cigarette while making coffees for people, you know, doppio espresso, cappuccino, like it's hilarious. And then craziest thing is I used to close the doors, have poker games in the back, with all the other chefs and the owners around Erie Street. They used to come there after hours. Like, it just made me realize as an individual, if I can host and do that, I was like, damn, I really love this. Like, hospitality's dope. So then after that, when we came here to Calgary, when we transitioned is Billy Fulton. You know Billy.
Yeah.
Shout out. He just got engaged.
Oh, did he?
He just got engaged.
Tell him I say what's up, man. It's been a while.
Fulton. But it was his brother, Thomas Fulton, that used to work at the Marriott as a chef. Yeah. So he's like, you want to work? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so when I started working there, some of the events that used to happen, I was like, wow.
So he hooked you up with the job there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I used to be like pretty much like I don't know, bitch boy. Yeah. Like just freaking go serve plates and, clean your table and yes, sir, thank you, sir, and all this. But it was like, the events that were happening, which was happening like Telus Convention Center, was just incredible. And I was like, wow, I want to run this. I want to run these events for these companies, and just slowly, but it was still during my young times when I was like, still wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
I like the money because I was still making good, but like what I was making in roofing, I was like,
So how long were you doing this though for?
Like once I was done roofing.
Yeah.
So it continued from 2011 onwards, on and off. So I did 1 year there, and then the funny thing is, when I did that 1 year, I actually got fired because I never showed up to work for 3 times during that time because I wasn't really enjoying it at that time. Like I knew I was good at it. But like I wasn't really taking it serious.
You weren't motivated.
No, and I was also going to SAIT while I was doing that and doing hospitality management.
Oh, you were in school.
Yeah,
you went to school
while I was doing that too, but only for a year because I can't do school, man. Yeah. Like I did 1 year. It's not my thing. I don't need school to teach me hospitality.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to say that and sound ignorant, but at the same time, that's just the way I operate. For others, it's different probably, but.
Well, you learn more, I think, from experience, right? Just being out there more than I think that you would in school.
Yeah, it depends though, right? So certain individuals, like, don't get me wrong, some individuals really can elevate from what they learn in school, and for me, what I learned, in real world can trump my experience for sure. You never know. Yeah. But it's just the way I operate and the way I found it that helped me elevate to the next level.
So you dropped out of school, and then you went.
I went back to roofing.
You went back to roofing.
Went back to good old roofing. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Something
just,
comfortable.
Just back to good old roof.
And now you're roofing, and then how long did it take for you to transition full time into the Marriott? Because weren't you like the regional sales manager or something? Like, what were you for Marriott when you left?
Regional food and beverage manager.
When I left, it was regional food and beverage manager and it's called OSR, which is Operation Support Resources.
Okay.
So we pretty much give support and resources to any hotel around Canada if they request for your department. And our department has general managers, food and beverage managers, front office managers. So they have managers from each outlet to support the hotel for any need that they require. But we're based for Canada-wide, and there's also an American division as well, which is pretty crazy because they also go to Hawaii. And
Yeah, because you traveled with them, right? Like you go and check out the restaurants and stuff.
I only got the chance because the craziest thing is, well, I will get to it in a little bit. We'll get to it after, I guess, if you guys want. But like, because I started the new position in January of this year.
Oh, okay.
And I pretty much traveled more and probably did work in two hotels, 1.5 probably. And the rest of the time I got paid for being at home in this new position, right?
Okay.
But the rest of them,
yeah,
in this new position, which I kind of felt guilty, but also thankful, like, to be honest, super thankful. But
so you were just starting fresh then.
Oh, it was like, I tasted it. Like, I knew I could have, like,
crazy.
the next level was
right there.
Like, I was, but it's okay. Like, we'll bounce back.
But how so before January, before you got this new position, how long were you at working with the Marriott?
Before that, so it's been a total of like 2.5 years.
Oh wow, so 2.5 years.
Yeah, not even yet, around 2.5 years.
And then finally in January, I'm just trying to.
No, that's complete though, completely.
Oh, 2.5 years.
That's like completely.
Okay.
2.5 years.
But then in January is when, let's just say you got like promoted, right, to the regional sales.
It was food and beverage.
Food and beverage management.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. Right? You're working from home. And is this at the time where you decided to get into real estate?
Yeah. Because it's kind of like, of course, because it's like, well, the thing is, what you gonna do, right? Like, you gotta get your options, right? Like, what am I gonna do? Sit there and just only accept the Marriott money, right? So for me, what motivation is, when you have a mortgage, you have rental properties, and you have, things that you have responsibilities, those things don't stop. And because it's COVID or whatever, it doesn't stop. So payments, whatever it is, and of course, you gotta make an investment to retire young, because all this hard work was the purpose of it, right? In my vision. So it's just extra motivation for me to continue to do what I've always wanted to do,
which was
as
real
an
estate.
extra thing, right?
Okay.
Because I always like to have plans, plan B, plan C, just to be prepared. Because you never want to put all your poker chips in one bet. So, sometimes
it sounded like you wanted like an exit strategy or plan B, just in case something didn't work out with the Marriott.
Well, it didn't, so you got you got lucky, bro.
No, it all worked out. I mean, it was all timing and stuff too, and you already kind of had that thought. You were taking the courses, and like no one really could have predicted like what happened with COVID. But now that you are in, you had an exit strategy with that, you could plan it out, and now you're doing it full time. So
it's freaking incredible. Like, if I knew this before, like, I always knew it, but like, just taking that jump. And the thing is, for me, that made it easier to make that commitment too. It's not just that, but also I knew we did business together, and I know we know each other. So I knew getting in the business, I don't want to be that individual where you go there and then it takes you a while. You gotta spend a lot of your money because you don't know where to start. I know you guys have the background and experience. So what does it hurt me to ask and be like, you know what? If I'm gonna get in this business, why not get in the business and have the support, but also the knowledge, and feed off from the individuals who are already doing it. You know what I mean? And it makes it a lot easier for me to motivate me to finish the course and get into the business and want to learn it, because no matter what, some people do it by themselves, right on you. For me, I feed off, and if I don't know something, I'll feed off a certain individual's knowledge or success, and I'll try to do it my way.
For sure, it's good to have the support. Like when you're leaving into something, it gives you a little bit of comfort in going to something new. And like, you took the leap of faith to go into it and try it out, and it's working out quite well so far.
Yes.
Yeah, then that's something we gotta dive into also. I think you made a right move there by talking with us and wanting to get into real estate. I know when I first started, I didn't know anything. I didn't have any support, didn't have anyone to bounce ideas from, didn't have a structure, didn't know anything. I think Dave was kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I recommend. Like, I just imagine how much further I would have been if I had that support. I did go to like a bunch of courses, which I highly recommend you're gonna go do, to kind of get more structures and like more on like your lifestyle of being a realtor. But obviously everything's closed, right? So a bunch of courses I'm gonna recommend. But yeah, now you're in real estate. When was the day you got your license? Do you remember?
Ooh. No, not unless I pull up my Rica.com.
I remember I think you sent me like a photo, and then you were like in.
It's just like right around July. I know that in the end of July, because I remember that.
Yeah, I think it was like end of July, so July, August, September.
Yeah, because I remember
pretty
August.
Much 3 months.
August, I was doing open houses at that time without no codes. I was like, Dave, I need 1 day pass, 1 day code.
Yeah, you had no access to the Sentry locks at that time.
Yeah, the worst is when that one client.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, that was the last client for the open house. Close the door. But, they don't know that I only have a 1 day code.
Mm-hmm.
So then 2 more come out of nowhere. Yeah. And I'm like, and she's like, we would love to check the house. I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. 1 second. Calling Dave. I'm like, Dave, send me another code. I need another code. I think you're busy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think get an answer. And I was like, hey guys, unfortunately, we can do it tomorrow though. And then as I hear like ping, ping, I'm like, no, we can do it today. I'm like, 1 second.
That was pretty funny.
That's so you had no access to anything.
Struggle, yeah. Mm-hmm. Just
so tell us what you think about real estate so far. You've 3 months in. I think you've closed about what, 3 deals, 4 deals? 4 deals. Jeez.
I think 4 or 5.
Yeah,
we almost closed one out this weekend together.
We're at 4.
4.
4. We're close to freaking that 5th one.
Yeah.
I'm working on it though. I'm working on it.
And you've double-ended deal too. Like we've double-ended deal with you.
Some weird shit has been going on with you since
I've never double-ended a deal. And
even with Jason. I mean, with Dave. me and Dave haven't even done a deal. Yeah.
We haven't done a double-ended deal, so that worked out.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get 2. Hopefully.
Well, I called you. I'm like, I got a deal. You gotta jump on it. That you closed it, so good on you for that.
Yeah, it's been 4 sold.
Yeah,
2 listings right now.
Yeah,
you've been dealing with a few offers though, which is great.
Yeah. So just kind of getting the rhythm, right? This was like, to be honest, right now the selling part was a little weird, right? Because right off the bat, all the sold are buys.
Yeah.
So kind of getting the rhythm of the buys, and when the sell came, I'm like,
what do I do?
Yeah. You're like, yeah, absolutely, I will sell that house for you.
You've already got 3 listings.
Well, yeah, we had 3, and then we rented 1.
Yeah.
1 is rented, and now we just rented another one as of 10 minutes ago.
Nice.
Good job, man.
So,
yeah. A lot of realtors right now are struggling. They've been in the business for a while. You came off pretty hard, right? Like just coming right off the bat. What have you learned in the last 3-4 months about real estate? What would you say you're like? Because I know at the beginning, there's been a few times where you thought it was like,
this is easy.
This is easy. Even this weekend, right? And we're like, it's never this easy, man. It will come.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say like the biggest lessons you've learned so far?
Yeah, like the word easy. That should be taken out.
Because people think real estate's easy.
Like check this out. The hardest part about it is just the documentations and like the back end and like following the certain protocols, right? Because sometimes I get out of the protocols and I start, doing it my way, and I'm like, wait a second, no, there's actually system to this. So if you stick to the system, you don't have to worry about it. For example, how about once upon a time? Yeah. So sometimes when it's new, you start over promising, and because you want the listing so bad, you forget to take a step back and start realizing, okay, you already got the listing. Like you wouldn't be in this house if you're not almost there, right? That's number 1. And then number 2, just stick to knowledge. Like if you know what you're talking about, it gets a lot easier, and you don't have to panic and overpromise anything, because then you stick to exactly the core values of the knowledge of this game, right? Which is stick to what you know, stick to what they want to know, stick to the facts. That's it. And for me, for the first time, is you get excited, especially me. I hope you guys know by now. I got a lot of energy.
Yeah. Where does all that energy come from? Because it is a lot of energy.
Yeah. No, it's good energy, though.
Yeah, it's good energy.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, like, I don't know. It's just a rush of things, right? Like, hospitality is the biggest thing, too. In hospitality,
I think it complemented, like, I think what you learned from hospitality is easily moved over to real estate, right? Because it's service, right? You're catering all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that you were saying that it's been different, like dealing with, like, managing like 2,000 people in a conference and then dealing with one-on-one. Right? It's a totally different ball game.
Different. Yeah. Because 101s, like, I used to deal with 101s when I was doing assistant managing at the Delta Hotels downtown in Calgary. I opened the restaurant alongside with my colleague Ian, and as well as Delco. He was our director at that time. So, like, dealing with that is a lot of one-on-one because you have to get relationship, get the businesses to come in there. It's a brand new restaurant, Shoe and Canoe, great. You're another restaurant on the block. Who are you, right? And you're also in a hotel. You know, what's going to take me outside of my house to go in a hotel restaurant?
Yeah.
So then I just targeted one-on-one businesses, banks, and so that's what I mean. Like, it's different game because even if it's one-on-one there compared to one-on-one here, this is like somebody's live, right? Somebody investment. Somebody's like, somebody probably worked so hard to buy this first investment that they hoped they were gonna win, hit the lotto out of it.
Yeah.
And then you're in COVID, and you gotta be like, listen, man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is what the facts say. So what do you want to do, buddy? I'm sorry, But you got to get that out a little bit. You got to get the feelings out. Like, so it comes with experience.
Well, that's why we go with you, right?
Yeah.
It is, and that's the thing. We're learning too with the new agent, tweaking our things too, right? Yeah. We've never worked with, obviously when me and Dave partner up, we had to work out our things too. But now, building the team, it's different to us too, and that's something we're learning. Also, is like, okay, how do we train you properly now? Okay, how do we teach you what to say, like the right things to say and how to actually do a listing presentation, right? Things you can't say in a listing presentation, and like things that you should say or shouldn't say, right?
It comes with like
experience,
learning the dialogue and the experience, and like we kind of threw you in with the wolves, but you survived quite well, and you've been doing quite well for yourself. So
I was actually surprised because like a couple of deals we sent you closed them.
Yeah, right away.
I was like, shit. I was like, okay, all right, this is how it's gonna be. Let's start sending you some more.
I think like if I was to explain all the things that I went through with these closings and listings, I think I've almost seen around like 40%, what this game has, and like, like I just want to give a round of applause. It's just like, thank you so much for calling me at 7 a.m. I really appreciate that. You're like, how may I help you? Erald here at your service. Absolutely.
Well, I think the things you've told me you've been doing, I'm like, I feel like that's a lot to do, but you got to do what you got to do, right? In time, you'll understand like how much more your time is worth, and like more and spending more like efficient things to do, right?
Yeah. Your strengths and your weaknesses. I think what you bring from the hospitality is like a huge, like not like a positive thing, but it's like a advantage that you have. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that like we're familiar. Yeah, like dealing with like tons of clients in one setting. Like I feel like that's a huge advantage that you have, and that's something that you bring to the table that like Jason and I would have. Like exactly like your the possession that you did for Jack. Like that was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. We got so many messages about that.
Yeah.
Ourselves, like,
yeah.
So a little background if you guys haven't seen it yet. Erald did. Well, you explain it, Erald. What did you do for your first possession?
Yeah. So the first possession was a little different than what we originally planned.
Oh yeah,
You
you
remember
want
Yeah.
you wanted a bagpipes?
Bagpipes.
I was like,
Or a lion dance.
Yes.
I was like, first of all, your client's Asian.
Yes.
Okay, well, he's not gonna understand bagpipes.
So we just talked about me being hospitality, so it's a lot more about me. Sometimes these things.
Errol just wanted to see some bagpipes.
I just wanted to put a smile on my face. Okay.
Yeah.
I love entertainment. So and then after that, I was like, I think it was you, Dave. You mentioned Dragon Dance, and I was like, oh, that is an incredible idea. Everybody, I'm calling Chinatown here, and they're like, sorry, sir, because 6 feet apart, it takes 2 to operate 1. We can't do it. I'm like, please. I'm like, listen, just wherever they are, I will pay them. I will be the second one, whatever, and just get it done. And then randomly looked up. It said YYC Taiko. I seen him play drums. I'm like, call. I'm like, hi, how are you? And she's like, hi. I'm like, hey, you guys still operating? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm like, can you come and take care of this at this one of the possession days that we have? She's like, possession for what? I was like, okay, I'm a realtor and I have a possession date on this date. Would you be able to bring your team to this property and perform? And she's like, I've never done that before, but yeah. I was like, are you joking me? She's like, yeah. I was like, okay, absolutely. I will give you a deposit right now. I will pay you half right now and half when you finish the performance. So what I did is got a nice red carpet. I want to do that moving forward. Mm-hmm. It's not just to like brand it out. I think if you're gonna go and spend that kind of money, you deserve a red carpet. Mm-hmm. I think, especially
I saw that. I was like, wow, okay.
Especially us when we represent you, it's just an extra thing. I don't want to just hand the keys over to you, mm-hmm. and that's where hospitality comes in, and being fortunate enough to manage not 1, not 2, but being in 3 different Marriott hotels and being around certain individuals, see different human beings coming from around the world. Mm-hmm. You want to just create an experience, mm-hmm. truly a nice experience. It doesn't matter if I'm doing not real estate, mm-hmm. to be honest. Even when we had the business in car detailing, still doing the same thing. Even when I was doing, when I was working for Siemens, the fire alarm technician, I was still trying to do the same thing. It doesn't matter what I'm going to do. I'm always going to try to elevate that level of experience because you deserve it, mm-hmm. right? And if you're alongside me, I think if I'm going to be happy, you're going to be happy alongside me. And let's make it an exceptional moment for mm-hmm. you to always remember. So that red carpet is just to you, get that keys, feeling enriched, feeling like that investment is worth something. Mm-hmm. That you work so hard. And there you go, right? That you can give yourself a round of applause for it. Like, you deserve it.
Yeah, I think that's something that you want to work on, is like having an interesting experience for everybody that mm-hmm. purchases, right? So I think you're kind of working on the next thing with the next client that is going to be taking possession.
That's closing
so
this,
that'd be
this
pretty
week,
cool.
right?
Yeah, and then we're doing, we're getting 2 executive chefs to do full catering service. We have the client's brother, who's going to bring up the family members. The client, he has a new future with his family. So I just feel like that would elevate and kind of bring up his spirits. Mm-hmm. Just from, being down and the low mm-hmm. with whatever situation he was dealing with personally. And then having this investment and showing his kids that, I bounced back mm-hmm. for you guys. And then just having the family to surprise them. I think it would touch. So that's why everybody has a different, I think I will create a different experience for mm-hmm. based on their story. And that's why sometimes I need to get my big heart out of the way. Yeah. But it's cool though. I love it. Yeah. Like, it's very personal. It's different. Yeah. And, I can't wait.
I think that's like a big standout for you, like creating these things for the people and also creating experience for them that's like a lasting memory for them, right? So.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the aim.
Yeah. What advice would you give right now for any realtors struggling and dealing with COVID, and like you just come out, get your license this year and already closed 4 deals?
Reach out to YYC Real Estate Group.
Yeah, because the average agent only closes between like 6 deals a year.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
you're more than halfway there in your first 2 months.
I think just by you saying that, I think that will start out by mentioning that. I think if you're going to come in and be a realtor, or even if you're having a situation, if you have the mentality of going by, the system says it takes 6 months to make a deal, you might have to spend your own money, or 6 deals is the average. If you wake up and you aim that I want to do 50 deals this month, mm-hmm. the thing is, even if you reach 1, at least you reach 1% of that. Mm-hmm. But if you have no goal, you can't reach nothing. So if you woke up this month and your goal is, I'm going to get money, or I'm going to sell a house. Okay, but what's your goal? How many do you want? How are you going to do it? Right? The thing is, you got to get out of your comfort zone and really motivate yourself. Like, truly, like, if you want to sell a house, you guys grilled it at one point. It's like, yo, check your phone over, check your phone, deal with that. At one point, it didn't hit home, but it does, because that just exercises you and motivates you to start there. But then little you know, you're going to do that when you're at a party. You're going to do that here. It just becomes a habit. And it's just consistency. Aim high. Don't, because of COVID, people told me, don't do real estate. But everybody said, don't do real estate. The thing is, if I followed that, I knew it. I want to do it.
There's a lot of part-time realtors, right? And you're going to get part-time service, right? Part-time work, part-time everything, right? So just dedicating yourself to it. And I think that's what I've seen with you. Every week I'm like, open house. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, you never say no.
Yeah. And I'm like, yo, it's up to you, bro. If you want to do open house, you could do an open house. You're like, why are you even asking me this? I'm doing open house, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's because, like, it's not about the open house. It's about the knowledge. Like, as I said, like, forget about school. Like, that's, like, class right there. You should be paying money for that. Because what you now, if you get nobody in an open house, no, shit. That's, you know, you're going to think to yourself a little bit, like, do I want to do real estate?
No, that's a good time to get a lot of work done.
Yeah. But that's when you're already a little bit in.
100%.
Because if you got nothing to work on, you're gonna scroll up and down. But no, it's just like, as you said, Jay. It literally is an education. So it just, for me, people coming in the door, I get used to how the system works. Maybe I'll do it next time somebody comes in. I'll approach it differently. Like, it's a very good experience. Very good.
And I think you were open because to learning, because when you joined, I told you straight up, I'm like, hey, we're gonna be leaving Remax. We're going to Equium. You know, do you want to just join Remax for a month and then go to Equium, or what do you want to do? You know, and I'm like, this is what I recommend. Just join Remax, get in, get as much shit as you can done, and then we're moving. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people wouldn't do that. I feel like a lot of people would wait that month or question it, right? But you kind of just jumped in head first, and didn't really complain about it. Like, how was that transition for you in the last 3 months there?
That was pretty good though, right? Because that all the sales came when I was in Remax.
Yeah.
And then the listings are from. So it was a really cool month. And when you said about, you know, going from one to another, even if we go to a random company, that my whole thing was real estate.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I join somebody's random, you know, LTD company or whatever it is. I don't give two craps. I joined it with you two guys, and I was like, let's learn it. Let's sell some houses. Who we pay, who we have to deal with, I don't care. You know what I mean? Because I'm not at that stage yet for me to even care. Most important thing is, let's get this game. Let's get it going. Yeah. And, you know, I'm impatient. Because the one thing, you know, you guys know, like I am. Because the thing is, I get hungry. If I see something, I don't know it, but I see that I know I can do really good at it. Oh, man. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you
Mamba out, right? Like
I'm assuming you enjoy real estate then.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I enjoy any kind of like this kind of like a rush, right? Yeah. If it's real estate, or you saw me when we did that party. I don't even think I even ate anything. I didn't even know what was on the food. I was too busy because right behind me, I would hear like, you know, when my hospitality, especially like, you know, my management side comes in. It's like somebody's like, I'm thirsty. I'm like, who's thirsty? And I was like, Haji. I'm like, where's Haji? And I was like, Haji, get over here. I was like, these guys are thirsty. And I kind of gave up at one point. I was like, who's thirsty? Go over here. And I was just pouring it for them. You know, I was like, hey.
What would you say you have learned about yourself and the business in the last couple of years?
Like in general, like for like business and hospitality, or just in general? In
general with yourself. And then let's talk about real estate, what you've learned, like the biggest lessons you've learned.
Yeah, I think the biggest one was when I went to full-time into hospitality, the biggest lesson was like communication. I used to be I didn't have a lot of patience at that time, so you have to learn it. You really mature. When you really execute certain things in that kind of industry, you always had the maturity in there, like, because that's why I would do certain kind of fields, and I've been in certain transitions over my life from different companies, and going from fire alarm technician to food and beverage manager to still roofing. Fortunately, still roofing.
I didn't know you're still doing that, but
yeah, family business. You never run away from it. It doesn't matter if you leave the country, you're still roofing. Erald Shkalla, my bro, I love you, but you know what I'm talking about.
Erald's done some quotes for us. Like he'll call me and be like, I'm on the roof right now looking at this. You're going to need some of this stuff. I'm like, all right, sweet.
No, I think the biggest thing is...
biggest thing you learned. Yeah.
Biggest thing I learned, investments.
Personal.
Personally, the biggest thing investment is know my knowledge, get really good at what I need to do, and then to accomplish an early retirement. Because personally, is personal strength and personal goals that I've gained are mental goals. Strong mentally for sure, because to cope with different transitions into food and beverage or changing fields, you have to be ready mentally. Because especially with COVID, what's going on right now, like you just have to be strong mentally and
strong mentally.
Yeah, mentally, just to make sure like you're ready. Like even if this comes, don't complain about it. Let's go. Right? What's your next plan? And
so being prepared for everything.
Being prepared, yeah.
Okay.
That one, and then maybe really self-aware how good I am at certain things. And so the more you notice that about yourself individually, it gets a lot easier to do certain things, because you don't have to worry about doing it good or what does he think. Because if you've polished it and you're kind of good at that, because from certain jobs you do it, you get that feedback. There's got to be something there, right? Nobody says you're good at this for no reason, right? 'Cause you might hear it once to give you a little bit of a heads up. It's like, oh, thank you, but no, what you're good at. Like even with right now, I don't feel bad about hospitality, because tomorrow when it goes up, I'm not going to go back to the same position. I'm going to ask for either director or GM, because I know I can. And especially building a database in this industry, right? I know I can bring that database in that hotel. And I know it can bring profits and generate consistent business, right? And based on whoever, like builders would, Equian would. Like, it's just certain things like that is... I'm ready, right? I'm never worried about anything. I think that's my biggest strength that I always had, that I always wanted to polish.
Yeah.
I never get worried about anything. Like, literally, you can put me in the street. I would rather suffer than have my family too, for example, right? Like, if there was 5 pieces of bread and there's 6 of us, I would opt out. Because I know I can survive. I'll find a way. I'll hustle. I'll find a piece of bread somewhere.
For sure.
But I don't want them to go through that, right? Because I know I can do it. That's, I think, what I always wanted to polish and maintain.
Yeah, that's what kind of like Nav was saying before too, is that like a lot of the stuff comes to luck and timing, right? And it's like it was like a perfect timing for you to just do all those things and get into it. And, you took a leap of faith to actually get all that stuff done. Yeah. So I think that's where like your determination and like your work ethic has come in great with the business. So
it sounds like you became more self-aware of yourself.
Yeah.
And what you could bring to the table.
Yeah, like, because before you I don't know, everybody had a little doubt. Like, you're good at it, but you still doubt it. I think leaving this game and getting to corporate level and reaching this high and doing what I'm doing right now, it's like, okay, you have something. Keep that. And then also, I'm very humble. Like, very humble. Very, like, I'm thankful I have health, number one, because without my health, like, this shit doesn't matter. Like, none of this shit matters. Like, so I'm thankful every day. Well, luck, of course, like, not everything comes because I did it. Like, sometimes you got to remember all this that I brought up, you guys, your support, the individuals that I have, at the Marriott. Those individuals brought me to where I'm at, because if it was just me, yeah, great. I know I'm good at that, but those individuals believed in me, right?
Yeah.
Those individuals put my name on the ballot there, said, yeah, this is the guy that I want to be my boss. That means a lot, right?
Yeah,
and for you guys to be like, yeah, this is the guy, take that lead. That's it. And then that's where I have to prove myself, right?
For sure.
But without you guys, like, it's not just me. I didn't get to where I'm at and feel this confidence because of me. It's the team. That's like what makes me super good about myself is if I want a restaurant, I know a restaurant owner. I can book it. If I need this, I know that individual. Like, it's about having that connection, that backup, because then you feel like you have options. Like, when you have options, you're the most powerful human being in the world.
Yeah.
When you have options. When you have no options, you're run by it. Like, you're in control. But that's what I love. Like, and that's where hospitality comes in, because, you know, I need a nice car. Be like, hey, yo, Dave, take me to, like, you know, car shows that you go to. Like, just things like that, though, right? Like,
yeah. There was this, like, pretty good quote that I was reading the other day that kind of resonated with what luck means, right? And it's like, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So when you're prepared and you have a plan and stuff like that, and an opportunity comes up in that perfect timing, it may seem like luck, but it's actually because you've worked your way up to this certain point, and the opportunity presented itself, and you were there when it was available. So
that's a good way, Good. It's a good way to put it.
Yes.
Yeah, bada bang.
Like that.
I wish I had like buttons so I can make certain sounds, you know, because that needed a sound right there.
The reggae horn.
Yeah.
What does happiness mean to you?
Ooh. It's I want to use the word everything. Happiness is health. Like, I think that's I don't want to say too much about it. I think that's like, happiness is health. And without my health, I can't do any of this. And
I agree, man.
That's what I gotta say.
If you do get sick or something happens with your health, you realize none of this matters.
Yeah,
right?
like, I'm so grateful. Like, come on. Like, did I write this script? Did you think that I would, you know, a young boy from Dudas, Albania, living in a communist country, no joke, full communist country, where people still to this day they don't make that much money in that. Like, they have a good life, but they're not the opportunities. And for me to be here today, I didn't write this script, man. I'm so thankful. You know, we all have families, you know, parents.
Yeah.
We're all parents that, you know, made the leap to come here. So without them, shit is impossible, right? So that's why the extra motivation is them, for real. But, yeah, man, without health, shit, man.
Is there any last... I think we covered a lot, man. I don't even know what we really talked about.
I kind of like that, though.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation.
I really want to hear some feedback from all the listeners. Do you think I have a nice radio voice or what? What do you think? What do you think? Should I? Hey now.
I don't know if you got a nice voice. No, just checking. Any last... I think we covered real estate. You know, you joined the team. We're happy that you joined the team. You definitely brought a different type of energy. Makes me want to elevate my game. I know probably with Dave too. And yeah, just closing the deals, man. It was surprising for us, I think, right? We're like, okay, let's just throw them. I'm just like, deal with this lead. I don't want to do it. It's close. I was like, okay, well, let's get the business now.
I think you joining us really helped Jason with delegation too.
Yeah, because I think for us to grow, like, I needed to push a lot off my plate, right?
Yeah.
And
dude.
I couldn't do that, and I didn't know how to. But then it just kind of worked out. I was like, fuck, I gotta take full advantage of this right now.
Yeah, and I feel like the determination and you just like, you never said no to anything. And like,
yeah,
the best quote that you always said is, I asked for this. Like every time you're like, are you sure you want to do this? You're like, yeah, man, I asked for this. Yeah, I asked for this. I wouldn't do this if I didn't ask for this. So it's all good. Like, me and Jason laugh about that all the time. It's like, yeah, like Erald you bring good energy to the team, and like, we appreciate that. And like, you're just the determination and you know, the drive to not quit. I think is great, because there's a lot of people that get into the industry. They see what it's like and they're like, this is not for me. Like, they'll go back to their 9-to-5 job because they're not as determined. They don't have that hustle and drive. And I think that's something that you bring to the team, is this like fresh energy.
yeah, for sure.
So,
I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I love every right of it. There's nothing to say, guys, except for thank you.
Well, I was going to say this before we end this here. Is there any last things you do? I like to always give you an opportunity to, you know, say anything you want to share, or anything you want to say while you're on here.
Yeah, actually, just keep it going. Anybody out there, everybody, I know everybody's heard this, especially all my hospitality co-workers or anybody who's suffering to this time. If you got an idea, you've always wanted to do it, now is your time to do it. Go and fucking do it. Don't make fucking excuses. Go and do it. I think that's the only thing I want to leave it at is this is your chance. If there's anything that you've always wanted to do, even if you still loved your job you got laid off to do, just try it out. Try it out. Believe me.
Take the risks.
Take the risk. Awesome. Well, we'll end it at that. And how do we find you?
Yeah. Where are you on?
All right.
You're pretty much on all our pages.
Yeah. So let's start off by YYC Real Estate Group. No, check me out on IG at Realtor and on Facebook at Erald Shkalla. So I appreciate all you guys. One love. And thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Sweet.
All right.
All right.
Nice to have you.